Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. My name is Adam, and I'm a programmer at a small-town library. I have high-functioning autism, which makes it a little difficult for me to socialize. But it's a fish out of water in the programming world. I developed a state-of-the-art management system for our library this system not only improves efficiency, it also provides a better service experience for readers. I didn't realize that the system had actually caught the attention of the industry. I was surprised to receive an invitation to a tech conference. To be honest, I felt a little uneasy about leaving my familiar surroundings. But the thought of being able to talk to other techies, I still decided to step out of my comfort zone and go to this conference. When I arrived at the venue, I was a little overwhelmed by the scene before me. People were coming and going, bustling about, and all sorts of voices were mingling, and it made me feel a little dizzy. Just then I noticed a group of people outside the venue holding signs in protest. Their shouts got my attention. I couldn't help but move a little closer. Suddenly, a female voice rang out, "Hey, you. Yeah, that's you. With glasses." I turned around to see a girl with red hair walking towards me. There was a gleam of excitement in her eyes holding a sign with slogans written all over it. "I'm Olivia," she introduced herself. "What do you think of what these big companies are doing? They pollute the environment and exploit workers. And yet here we are, talking about technological advances." I was a little confused as to how to respond. I'm Adam. I'm just a library programmer. Came here to share the management system I developed." Olivia's eyes lit up. "Wow, a library. That's awesome. Did you know that libraries are important places for spreading knowledge and ideas?" And her tone became suddenly serious. "We must ensure that this knowledge is not misused, not be used to harm our planet." Just then, the security guard at the venue noticed us talking, started coming toward us. Olivia looks a little nervous, but she doesn't back down. "They're coming," she whispered. "It seems they don't like us discussing the truth." I felt a wave of panic. I don't want any trouble, but I don't want to leave Olivia like this either. It was at this tense moment that an idea struck me. "Olivia," I said, hastily, "I have an idea. I can use my system to help you spread your ideas." I quickly opened my laptop and connected to my library management system on the venue's Wi-Fi. I wrote a quick snippet of code that integrated Olivia's environmental slogan into the system's bulletin board. "Look," I said, pointing to the screen. "Now everyone who uses our library system can see your information. It's much more effective than shouting slogans here." Olivia looks at the screen in surprise, then breaks into a wide grin. "Adam, you're fantastic. This is a genius idea." Just then, security arrived. But seeing as we're just talking about a computer program, and they didn't say much about it, just warned us not to cause trouble and left. This chance encounter created an amazing connection between Olivia and me, despite our vastly different personalities and philosophies. But we're both passionate about what we do. We started seeing each other more often, discuss how to combine technology with environmental protection. Olivia's enthusiasm and energy is infectious. It made me start looking at the wider world and my rational and technical skills. In turn, it provides a way for Olivia's ideals to be realized. We learned from each other, we influenced each other, and gradually a romance across differences in personality and philosophy quietly unfolds. Over the next few days, we attended more tech conferences and environmental events together. Our story has attracted media attention, too. He has been described as the perfect combination of geek and activist. But most importantly for me, I found someone who understands me and accepts me. Olivia made me realize that technology is more than just cold code and machines. It can also be a force for change in the world. I, on the other hand, help Olivia promote her ideas in a more rational and effective way. Our story is like an intertwining of the rational and the emotional, like a harmony between technology and nature. We found each other in a world of challenges. And find your worth. This tech conference not only got me out of my own little world. More than that, It allowed me to meet people who changed my life. I look forward to being with Olivia. Continue our adventure to change the world with technology and ideals. After the tech conference, my life changed forever. I developed a library management system that caught the attention of a Silicon Valley tech company. They offered me an olive branch, a well-paying job an opportunity to showcase your talents in a technology center. At first, I was apprehensive about leaving my familiar town, but Olivia encouraged me to follow my dreams. She said, "Adam, this is your chance to prove yourself. You can change the world with your talent." Her words gave me courage, so I decided to accept the challenge. Moving to Silicon Valley has completely changed the pace of our lives. I've been working my ass off at the office every day. Immerse yourself in a sea of code and rack your brains for new projects. And Olivia has found a new career. She began writing articles for a number of environmental organizations and participating in various charity events. At first, this life excited us. We've got a nicer house. We can buy more stuff. It feels like it's getting closer to our vision. But over time, problems have emerged. I found it increasingly difficult to cope with the pressures of the company, confronted daily with more than just complex code. There's also the office politics of deceit. I'm starting to miss working at the library. It wasn't a big paycheck back then, but at least there was inner peace. Olivia has changed too. She became more and more involved in her environmental endeavors, often coming home late at night. Sometimes they don't even see anyone for days. When we finally get some time together, she's always rambling on about her new project, and very little interest in my work. The distance between us widened without us realizing it. I'm starting to think Olivia's getting aggressive, and she complained that I had become cold and numb. Our arguments grew, and sometimes we even got into big fights over small things. One night I worked late and came home. Pushing open the door to my house, I find Olivia sitting on the couch with a strange man. They seem very close. When Olivia saw me, she looked a little flustered. "Adam, you're back?" she said, a little awkwardly, as she stood up. "This is Jack, a member of our environmental organization. We're talking about new projects." I look at Jack. He's handsome, he's energetic, and Olivia is such a good match. At that moment, I felt an intense pang of loss and jealousy. "It's nice to meet you, Jack," I said, forcing out a smile, then hurried into the bedroom. That night, neither of us spoke. The air was filled with embarrassment and unease. Over the next few days, I locked myself in my office more and more. I told myself that if I just worked a little harder and made some more money, everything will be fine. But the truth is, I'm just running away from reality. However, fate always likes to play jokes. Just when I thought I was finally getting my feet wet with the company, the tech bubble suddenly burst. We've had programs called off, mass layoffs of staff. I'm in it. The shock of losing my job completely devastated me. I started staying home all day, doing nothing, confused and fearful of the future. Olivia tries to comfort me, but I take all my frustration and anger out on her. Finally, one day, Olivia packed her bags. Standing in front of me, he said, "Adam, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to the Amazon rainforest for an environmental program. Maybe we both need some time and space to think about our relationship." I looked into her eyes and suddenly realized that the bond between us had long since worn thin. I didn't hold her back, just watched silently as she walked out the door. After Olivia left, it was like I woke up from a dream. I look around at this luxurious apartment that used to thrill us. Now it seems so empty and cold. It suddenly dawned on me that in the pursuit of so-called success and wealth, I lost myself and what was most precious to me. I began to reflect on my life. I think of my simple, passionate self in the small-town library. Think of the feeling of burning for an ideal when you first meet Olivia. I decided that it was time to rediscover my true self. Packing my bags, I took one last look at the place that held so many of our memories. Then I turned away and made my way home. I know there's a long road ahead, but at least I found the right direction. The moment I returned to the town, I felt a peace that I hadn't felt in a long time. Though the future is still full of unknowns, I know. Here, in the place I know best, I was able to rediscover myself, find true happiness. Back in town, I got my life back on track. I got a job at the library again. The pay is not as good as the high salaries in Silicon Valley, but I feel more grounded than ever. Daily companion of books, helping readers find the information they need. This peaceful life has brought me back to myself. After the divorce, the kids lived with me. I poured all my love into them, trying to make up for a past that neglected them because of their work. Reading to them every night, taking them to the park on weekends. I am overwhelmed by watching them grow up happily. Library work is humdrum, but it has its challenges. I set out to improve the management system I had originally developed, make it more responsive to the needs of a small-town library. At the same time, I'm thinking about how libraries can continue to be valuable in the digital age. During my time at the library, I met an administrator named Emma. Emma is gentle and kind, always patient and helpful to every reader. She sympathized with me, but never asked for details, just quietly giving support. Sometimes, I'd feel a twinge of heart in her warm smile. But I tell myself that the most important thing right now is to take care of the kids. Yet again, fate has presented us with a challenge. It was a normal afternoon, and people were coming and going in the library. Suddenly, a pungent odor of smoke came from the. It was followed by an uproar of screams. "It's on fire! It's on fire!" I reacted quickly and started organizing the evacuation. Emma was at the other end helping the elderly and children evacuate. The smoke is getting thicker and the fire is spreading rapidly. Just when we thought everyone had been safely evacuated, a crying voice came from the children's reading room. "There are children trapped inside," Emma shouted anxiously. I didn't think much of it and immediately rushed to where the fire was at its peak. The smoke was so thick I could barely open my eyes, but I had to find the boy. I crawled, calling out as I searched. Finally, I found the frightened little girl behind a bookshelf. I took her in my arms and prepared to evacuate. But then, to my horror, I realized that the way we came has been blocked by flames. Just in the nick of time, I suddenly remembered the layout of the library. Years of familiarity with this place have led me to remember that the children's reading room has an emergency exit. I grabbed the baby and fumbled to move in that direction. Fresh air hit me as I pushed open the emergency exit door. I took a deep breath and ran out of the library with my baby in my arms. Outside, Emma and the firemen waited anxiously. Seeing us safely out, Emma immediately rushed forward and hugged me and the baby tightly. "Great, you guys are okay," Emma cried. "I'm really worried about you guys." I looked at Emma's tearful face and felt a sudden pang of heartache. In that moment, I realized that Emma has become more than a coworker to me. After the fire, I became the hero of the town. People praise me for my courage and my wit, but I know that without years of familiarity with the library, I probably wouldn't have been able to save that kid. This made me even more determined to contribute to the library. Emma did well in the fire, too. She calmly organized evacuations and calmed frightened readers that it is recognized as a credit to the rescue. This life and death experience we're going through together. It's heating things up between us quickly. During the days of rebuilding the library, Emma and I often work together late into the night. We discuss how to improve the security system, how to modernize the new library, how to better serve the community. In the process, our relationship grew. One night, when we'd finally finished the reconstruction program, as they looked at each other and laughed, Emma suddenly said, "Adam, there's something I want to tell you." I looked into her eyes and my heart raced. "This time working with you has made me realize something," Emma continued. "I like you, Adam, not just as a coworker, but as a man." I froze. Deep down inside, I developed feelings for Emma, too, but I've been afraid to admit it. I was afraid of getting hurt again, and I was worried about how it would affect the kids. "Emma, I like you too." I finally mustered up the courage to say, "But I have 2 kids and my life can be complicated." Emma gently interrupted, "Adam, I know what you're going through. It's not just you I love, it's your kids too. We can start a new family together." I was moved beyond words to hear that. I hugged Emma tightly, feeling her warmth. Since then, Emma and I have started a new life. She quickly won over the children. Our home is filled with laughter. Emma's love not only healed my wounds, it also gives children the warmth of a mother's love. The rebuilt library has a new look and has become the cultural center of the town. I've been working with Emma to combine modern technology with traditional library services, provide better service to the community. Watching the libraries come and go, watching the children move from shelf to shelf, I feel heartfelt happiness. I knew that this was the life I wanted, that this was a real home. Time flies, and before I know it, Emma and I have been together for 3 years. We live a quiet, happy life, busy every day at the library, go home at night and spend time with the kids. Our family is harmonious. Our children are growing up. Started to have my own hobbies. However, just as we were getting our lives on track, an unexpected visitor shattered our peace. It was a Saturday afternoon and I was in the backyard building our little vegetable garden with the kids. Suddenly, Emma comes running out of the house. With a hint of panic on her face, "Adam, Olivia's here." I froze. Olivia, my ex-wife. We've had very little contact since our divorce. I stood up, patted the dirt on my hands, and take a deep breath and walk into the house. Olivia stood in the center of the living room, looking much more haggard than I remembered. Her eyes swept over the family portrait on the wall before landing on me. "It's been a long time, Adam." "It's been a long time, Olivia," I said, trying to stay calm. "Anything?" Olivia's eyes flashed with mixed emotions. I want to talk to you. About our children. About our past." I glanced at Emma and she nodded knowingly and led the kids out. Olivia and I were the only ones left in the room. Olivia began to talk about her experiences over the years. The environmental campaign didn't go as well as she expected. She's had a lot of setbacks and difficulties. Days in the Amazon rainforest. She witnessed the magnificence of nature's. It also sees the destruction of the environment by mankind. These experiences made her begin to reflect on her life. I realized that I'd been pursuing some nebulous ideal and neglecting the most important people around you. Olivia's voice caught a little in her throat. "I hurt you and I hurt the kids. I came here to ask for your forgiveness and trying to make up for what I owe my kids." I listened in silence, mixed emotions flooding my mind. What once hurt seems to have resurfaced. But I also saw the sincerity and remorse in Olivia's eyes. "Olivia," I finally say, "the past is the past. We've all made mistakes. It's all growing up, too. About forgiveness, I forgave you a long time ago. As for the kids, all they need is your love and companionship, not guilt." Olivia looked up, tears glistening in her eyes. "Really? You don't hate me?" I shook my head. "Hate is a burden that. Let it go and we'll all live easier. The children need the love of both of us. We can be better parents, even if we're no longer a couple." Just then, Emma returned with the kids. Seeing Olivia, the kids look a little formal. Olivia crouched down and opened her arms. "Hi, babies. Mommy's back to see you." The children hesitated, then jumped into Olivia's arms. Watching this scene, Emma and I looked at each other and smiled, and all with tears of relief in their eyes. Since then, Olivia has started coming to see the children on a regular basis. At first, everyone was a little uncomfortable, but gradually we found a balance. Emma has embraced this arrangement with amazing tolerance. She said, "Families can take many forms. What matters is love." I continue to work in the library and work on digitizing the library. I've developed a new system that allows patrons to access library resources from home. The program has been a great success, and it has even attracted the attention of other city libraries. Emma, on the other hand, specializes in children's reading promotion. She organized a series of story times and readings that it was well loved by the townspeople. Our work is mundane but full of meaning. Whenever I see kids getting excited about a book, and we feel immensely satisfied. Olivia has also found a new direction in life. She began teaching environmental science at a local school. Pass on your experience and knowledge to the next generation. She's not as radical as she used to be. Instead, it is more pragmatic in promoting the concept of environmental protection. One night, when we were sitting around the dinner table as a family, including when visiting Olivia, I suddenly realized that this was the happiness I had been looking for. It's not great wealth, It's not prestigious. Rather, it's the warmth and love of this ordinary life. I look at Emma's gentle smile and, looking at the innocent faces of the children, even looking at Olivia's placid expression, the heart is full of gratitude. I've realized that true happiness is not an external accomplishment rather, it is inner peace and fulfillment. Life has its ups and downs, but as long as we do it with love and understanding, it will be able to overcome all difficulties. Our story may not make it into the book. It won't be made into a movie, but it's real and it's full of love. I'm sitting in front of the library window, looking out at the bustling streets of the heart is full of peace. I know that whatever the future holds, I have both found my own happy harbor. In this town, in this library, in our homes. Each of us is writing our own story. These stories may be mundane, but they are some of the most precious treasures in our lives. I realize that happiness is like that. It is not far away but all around us. It exists in every ordinary day, existing in every moment we support each other. This is the true meaning of life, and this is what we should cherish and guard. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.